Hey everyone, before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single story. At the backyard cookout, I aim to keep things easygoing. I'm really looking forward to our getaway I mentioned. My father chuckled right away. It's just for the relatives, minus you. The deck burst into laughter. My sibling let out a snicker. My mother grinned as if it were all in fun. I held my cool. I gave a nod, got up, and left my sealed bottle of wine right there on the table. 5 days on, my mom went after $5,000 she figured was still available to her. With one quick click, the account got a fresh title, and their family text thread gained a fresh headache. Stick around with me. This tale doesn't wrap up like they expected, because prior to that cookout, before the chuckles and the $5,000, there were countless minor digs. Tiny stuff I kept brushing off since they were kin. I instruct fourth graders. My days are simple schedules, lunchroom duty, Java breaks, the scent of whiteboard pens that sticks to your outfits no matter what. My days off were theirs every time. I'd travel 40 minutes to troubleshoot an internet connection, cover a repair guy they couldn't swing, or grab essentials when their debit card got rejected out of nowhere. They'd express gratitude, share relative pics online, and somehow skip including me. Honestly, I once enjoyed pitching in. It gave me a sense of being essential. But over time, being essential morphed into being taken advantage of. Sarah spotted it initially. She's level-headed, realistic, the type who maps out trips using spreadsheets. Last spring, she pointed out, you get that they only reach out when stuff goes wrong. Yeah? I brushed it aside with a laugh. I explained she didn't grasp family dynamics. I claimed remorse was how we showed affection. She wasn't amused. Then there was the Colorado escape, a 3-day lodge stay, affordable, peaceful, a respite from correcting assignments, and calls that kicked off with Lisa. Could you please? I didn't share any pics, but my relative did. One shot of me and Sarah beaming with snowy peaks behind us. That was enough. A couple days later, the messages kicked in. Megan first. Wow, nice to ditch your kin. Then Chris, you've really shifted. And my mom's note that came off kind but hit worse than any slam. We've always supported you, but when you have free time, you bolt like we're invisible. They spun a short vacation into disloyalty. By week's end, I was the bad guy in their version, the self-centered kid who abandoned them. Sarah warned me against attending that cookout, claimed it seemed staged, but when Mom phoned, her tone upbeat, swearing it'd be only relatives, I bought it. I usually do. That weekend, I toted a solid red wine, nothing extravagant. I even rehearsed sounding relaxed, how to express regret without truly saying sorry. I convinced myself this might reset everything to usual. I had no clue then that usual had already changed. I didn't realize the folks beaming at me over the outdoor table were set to embarrass me in unison. But I ought to have, since whenever they mentioned just relatives, they truly meant excluding you. The aroma of barbecued food still knots my gut. That afternoon, the atmosphere hung heavy with grill fumes and another vibe, anticipation. My dad manned the barbecue, flipper ready, pretending it was a typical weekend. Chris lounged by the ice chest, midway through his next brew. Megan flicked through her feed like life was too dull. Mom arranged the settings, humming away. When I arrived with the wine, nobody acted shocked, but nobody greeted me either. Hi, I offered, pushing a grin. Looks awesome here. Yep, Dad answered without glancing over. We kicked off early, meaning you're behind. I took a seat, working to overlook the hush, like the group was poised for a signal. Mom placed a dish before me. So she asked, how's Sarah? She's fine, I replied, wishing that sufficed. It didn't. Good to hear. Her smile was slim. No next query. Just quiet that expands and devours talks. I eyed Chris, attempted chatting about his fresh gig. He mumbled. Megan snickered. The chuckles after weren't booming, but cutting. I joined in, acting unaware of the bite in their voices. And then I dropped it, the line that ignited it all. I'm really looking forward to our getaway. It was meant as casual chat, breezy, innocent. Dad paused briefly, then let out that forced deep laugh he pulls for mean remarks. It's just for the relatives, minus you. The deck exploded. Chris whacked his thigh. Megan gasped for air. Mom lifted her glass, grinning like a cheer. For a beat, I stayed put. My ears buzzed. Everything funneled to ice cubes tinkling in cups. I figured perhaps someone would claim it was kidding. Maybe Dad would give a wink. Maybe Mom would reprimand him. But nobody did. It was planned. They aimed to watch if I'd crack. I didn't. I scanned the table, my kin, each laughing as if my outsider status was a show. Heat rose up my throat, then something chillier. Insight. This wasn't their first time shaming me, but it was the initial instance I recognized it clearly a show. They required me diminished, remorseful, handy, and the simplest method to maintain that was reminding me that regardless of my contributions, I'd never truly fit. So I offered what they hadn't anticipated. Quiet. I nodded once, composed. Understood, I stated, voice even. Then I rose, abandoned the untouched wine on the table, and departed. The chuckles dimmed behind me, swapped for insect hums and the steady pulse in my ears. In the vehicle, I lingered ages before starting it. My fingers shook, not from rage, but from something keener, lucidity. I'd invested years settling their tabs, filling their voids, sorting their messes. And in one line, they revealed my spot, outsider. By home arrival, my device was pinging with texts. You know Dad was joking, right? Don't overdo it. You always spoil everything. I stayed silent. Instead, I launched the finance app, the shared account I'd foolishly kept open after years of crisis aid. The amount stared back. I considered shutting it immediately, but held off. Not yet. Part of me wanted to observe their limits once they saw my non-response. It was quick. 5 days on, my screen glowed with an alert. Withdrawal try, $5,000. That instant, the shame flipped to something different. Something subdued, precise, resolute. If they desired me excluded from the kin, I'd deliver it fully. The alert lingered on my display like a gag. Withdrawal try, $5,000. Same shared setup, same plastic I'd set up long ago when Mom claimed she needed utility help. I should have ended it forever back. But remorse keeps entries open. I gazed at the figure till the screen faded. My brew cooled. Between the cookout and now, an inner calm had settled. No outburst, no freak out, just a straight, firm path in my core. I phoned the bank first, froze the plastic. My tone steady. The agent queried if I'd report scam. I nearly chuckled. No, I said it's kin. When the verification mail came, I reloaded the app. The label flashed atop, kin fund. I hit modify, erased each character. Then entered 3 terms, settle sans me. For a second, I eyed it, the words capturing years of remorse and minor shames. I confirmed. 10 minutes later, pings began. Mom. Hey, did you alter the setup? Dad, your mom aired. Correct it. Megan, LOL. Chris, for real, what's wrong with you? I stayed quiet. Instead, I captured the label, the botched transfer, and fired it to the kin thread. No words, no context. Then flipped my device down and stepped out. The evening was thick with muggy end-of-summer warmth, but my thoughts were sharp. For ages, I wasn't mentally scripting sorries. I wasn't scheming fixes. I was finished. Back home, the kin thread had blown up, 40 texts in. Mom, this is absurd. We required that for celebrations. Dad, after all we've given you. Megan, Elmo, you're nuts. Chris, mature, Lisa. I scanned each, then stashed the thread. Not erased, just tucked like a file for a future attorney. Sarah discovered me on the sofa, knees pulled in under a throw, eyeing the blank screen. She skipped questions. Just said, you went through with it, huh? I nodded. Yep. I quit funding folks who never viewed me as included. Outdoors, thunder grumbled deep and drawn out. Indoors, my device shook anew. More texts I ignored. They craved disorder. I offered quiet. That's revenge sometimes. Not all blasts are noisy. Occasionally it's a soft snap, then the fade of all you were owed. By dawn, the frenzy had grown. Pre-work phone check. 16 missed rings and texts flipping from fury to please. The kin thread was a war zone of finger pointing, each faulting another for losing setup access. Mom swore she missed the size of the pull. Dad, this is small, Lisa. You're shaming yourself. Megan shared a teary grin icon plus the bank's denial pic, like kin humor. I silenced it. By noon, Mom appeared outside my room. Office buzzed. A Mrs. Harlan here, urgent. I entered the corridor. Pulse even. Mom stood clutching her bag like a staged item. You froze the plastic? Her voice low, quivering perfectly. Yes. She blinked rapid, aiming for drops that stayed dry. We just needed for celebrations. I crossed arms. You attempted 5 grandstands asking. It was for everyone, kin. I grinned faintly. You declared I wasn't kin, recall? Her lips parted, then shut. She hadn't prepped for that. Lisa, she said at last. You're blowing it up. You're harsh. That term, harsh, struck deeper than the chuckles. Years they grabbed and labeled it care. Now my no was harsh. Class calls, I said. You ought to leave. Her tone broke on my name, but I turned before sympathy crept back. That evening, home to Sarah laying out delivery on the counter. You good? She queried. I shrugged. They're falling apart, she grinned softly. Nice. But it continued. 2 days on, apartment entry cracked open. First idea, I forgot locking. Second, hearing murmurs inside, worse. Mom and Dad in my space. Megan lounged on the sofa. Kicks off, feed scrolling, partial chip sack on the table. What are you doing? I asked. Mom spun with rehearsed poise. You ignored us. Since you tried theft, I said. Dad advanced, tone laced with fake command. Mind your words. We're your folks still. Then behave so. He huffed. You've altered since her. Sarah halted at the entry, bag like armor. You entered without key, she stated flat. Not cool. Kin matters. Mom barked. My final patience broke. No, I said, this is a legal entry. They stayed put. Megan chuckled low sans glance. Drama royalty. I went to the entry, swung it open. Out, Lisa. Immediately. Mom's gaze sharpened, ditching the nice. You'll wish otherwise. Already have, I said, and closed it post-departure. The post-leave hush felt holy. Sarah sat sofa, frame stiff. They won't quit, she said. I get it. That night, I rang someone silent for years. Mom's sis, Laura, the kin outcast. She picked up unsurprised. Figured you'd ring soon, she said. Invited me right over. Her cozy home smelled of wood and aged pages. Before words, she passed a stuffed folder. Your mom's been scheming folks forever. You're the newest. Within, logs, transfers, payments, even scripted notes from her borrow from Laura. 0 payback. 10 grand for roof fix in 2012. 5 more for health crisis. That was actually a tropical getaway. Nausea hit. She called you erratic, I whispered. Laura laughed. Naturally. Simpler to bury facts when all see you as off. Hours swapping tales. Patterns aligned exact. Borrow, deceive, remorse loop. I can assist, she said, filling wine in odd cups. But prepare for their hate. I grinned first that week. They do already. Next days, subdued turmoil. Laura's pal in finance rules aided cutting all links to parents, setups, backups, policies. I shut the final shared, then sent kin thread a 0 balance shot under settle sans me. No words, just quiet. Chris first, what is this crap? Megan, you're cracking. Mom rang 6 times hourly. I skipped. Next morn, device nonstop. Laura shared vintage shots. Parents at tables with drinks. Dates matching their broke claims. No tags needed. Minutes later, relatives texting truths. Dad says, you shamed your mom. I eyed the display, guilt-free from their push. That eve, Mom back at door with her bro, Alex. He loomed like backup, arms folded, shades despite dusk. She appeared worn, planned worn. Here to chat, she said. I stepped out, door shut. You shouldn't come. Alex cut in. You disgrace kin. That share was wrong. Nearly laughed. Wrong is draining my funds. She aired. He barked. She chose. I fixed. Mom raised palms fake yield. Want calm. Canceled the plans. Thought restart. Same play. Act like nothing. I'm not joining you anywhere. I said. Uninvited again, I report. Alex sneered. Threaten Mom? I held his look. No, guarding my world. Mom's face flipped. Surprise, sympathy, scorn. You've shifted, she said like worst ever. I have, I said soft. Not regretful. They left wordless. Entry light hummed. Inside, Sarah by glass scanning me. Not done, I said. They'll return. Correct. 2 days on, district mail, concern note. Respond now. Anonymous tip. I was unstable, hostile class. Read twice, I'd Sarah. New attack. She gripped my hand. We counter new. And I knew precisely. No delay. Rang Laura, sent the note, she scanned. Anonymous? Huh. Day needed. Next afternoon, got her simple. Sibling school net, no mask, rookie. Ease waved in. Gathered all, mails, texts, caps, to attorney Laura suggested. Name Mia. Steady, keen-eyed, unfazed by kin mess as scam. She scanned. No contact start, temp then forever. Like breathing after years clenched. Week in, board cleared me. HR sorry quiet. Boss, paid days off. I said thanks, meaning at last. Mom tried once more. Ignored. Final text, regret ditching us. Kin eternal. Erased. That night, Sarah and I boxed. New spot. 2-bed, real light to floor, cook window to green space. New key turned loose in year's tight chest. Laura arrived pizza, budget wine. Floor eating, she. They'll chatter on. Need blame. I grinned. Fine. I'm out the tail. Last box done. Finance app final open. Still settle sans me. Kept it. No longer payback. Memo. Memo quiet out loud's yells. Leaving echoes over fights. First life night, full sleep. No rings, no pings, no remorse, just calm full paid. 2 months on, quick kin thread checks. Actually deleted. No last word, no farewell, vanished. Hush odd first. No fake crises, no remorse as care. Once heavy quiet, now liberty. Friday Eve, Sarah and I balcony new place. Pizza midst, budget wine grips. City glows below, cozy far. Think apology ever, she asked. Head shake. They'd need wrong belief. She grinned. You won then. I'd device. No misses, no news, just left words in ice setup. Settle sans me. No anger now. Free. They claim not kin. Maybe correct. Kin shouldn't force belong begs. So if those naming you kin keep grabbing till empty, would you make them settle sans you?